Well, this morning kicks off our first ever Mayor Monday on News 18 this morning.
The first Monday of every month, we'll have mayors from where you live in the studio answering viewers' submitted questions.
This morning, we begin our new segment by welcoming West Lafayette Mayor John Dennis to the show. Good morning, Mayor Dennis.
Good morning.
We're going to start off with annexation, a hot ticket item really the past few months. We have a special meeting coming up this week. Let's talk a little bit about what's on the agenda.
Well, annexation actually has been something that we've been dealing with for about the past 4 years. We came up with the concept when we realized that we were pretty much running out of room in the city of West Lafayette to grow and bring in development. So we've gone through a process of public meetings. Obviously, some of those public meetings are rather heated at some points. And we've come up with a project and a plan that we feel is great for our community. With that understanding, we have the final reading of the statute this Thursday at 6:30. And when that concludes, depending upon how the council goes, the annexation will then become law and we'll be able to move forward with our development plan.
Now let's talk about something that's been more of a regional issue, and that's the Amtrak news that came out that localities are going to have to chip in for the costs. So talk about how the plan came about, really, to bring localities on board and make sure it was a plan that everybody could get behind all along the line.
Well, actually, it sort of went backwards from that. Our community was made aware of the fact that Amtrak might be leaving, that we might be losing the Hoosier State line. And from that, a grassroots effort sprung up where people made it abundantly clear to those of us in public office that they wanted to keep that particular service. The Hoosier State runs basically from Indianapolis to Chicago, and there are several stops along that way. And each city that is involved in that line felt that it was important to go ahead and continue that particular service. We had the summit a few months ago, that's when we really did get a lot of feedback both from Amtrak and from the state. And that's when we were given an opportunity to figure out how to best continue this service. And the best solution was basically for the stakeholders, which are the cities that are involved, to go ahead and financially contribute for 1 year. Now, I think one thing that's critically important is people need to realize that this just is not a blank check to continue Amtrak. This is our way of getting a little bit of skin in the game to try and improve the service. Most recently, ridership has been up on that particular route, and most specifically at our station here in Greater Lafayette. And if anybody's familiar with our community, they realize that that has a lot to do with the fact that we have a strong international population, and that is sort of their lifeline from West Lafayette and Purdue to Chicago to get to the airport to get home. So we felt it was incumbent upon us to at least go ahead, get involved, get some skin in the game, and then try and drive that service to make it a better service, a more dependable service, and make it so that they could actually have a more pleasant ride.
Let's talk as this year kind of wraps up, looking forward, moving ahead to 2014. Some development. We have that Meyer going on in 52, off of 52.
Sure.
Could we expect any more developments coming on
sure.
to town?
And again, that's one of the key components of our annexation plan. The new 231 corridor sort of sets up a unique opportunity for our community. And the fact of the matter is how often does a city get a chance to build a city? And that's in essence what we're looking at here with the 231 corridor. As of this point, we have had several developers express interest in using that corridor as a focal point for their investments. We currently are telling everybody to hold off and let's get the annexation done, and then we will be able to better drive that development. Quite clearly, West Lafayette and Purdue University have a very unique personality, and we want to make sure that that gateway, that 231 corridor, recognizes and celebrates that uniqueness. And that's why we want to have a strong voice in that development.
And a lot of new development lately in West Lafayette. This is a viewer-submitted question from Ashley, so we thank you, Ashley, for asking this. But it's come with roundabouts, something you don't see in a lot of cities. So tell us, what are the benefits of some of the roundabouts, and if people really aren't used to it?
Well, there's two major benefits that we talk about. Obviously, people, when they first get introduced to a roundabout, are somewhat confused. Everybody's used to an intersection that has some sort of control, whether it be a stoplight or a stop sign. With a roundabout, it's basically a free-flowing motion where the cars don't stop, but they yield, slow down, and then they enter it with caution and they exit with the same caution. But the fact of the matter is that they're safer. There's not the direct contact incidents. If there's ever any kind of an accident, it's just a brush. So the injuries and fatalities are greatly reduced. And then second off, it's greener because you're not sitting there and idling at a stop sign or a stoplight waiting for the direction to go. Initially, the confusion is just a learning curve, and with the roundabouts that we've put here in the community, we've received several positive comments on them. People really like them, and it shows that we are sort of a forward-thinking community, and that we do celebrate the opportunity to be creative and try and improve our traffic flow.
Before you leave us this morning, let's just backtrack to last week, Halloween. There was a lot of confusion, I guess you would say, about West Lafayette not changing trick-or-treat times. Talk a little bit about how you guys really don't have a set time for trick-or-treating times.
No, a lot of the communities, believe me, I received a lot of emails and phone calls about that particular decision. But a lot of the emails referenced communities that do have sanctioned Halloween trick-or-treating hours. Greater Lafayette does not do that. Both cities, we don't intervene in Halloween. We usually leave it up to the adults to go ahead and make decisions as to what's in the best interest of their children. And we made that same call last week. And from what we've been told, things worked out pretty well.
Hey, West Lafayette Mayor John Dennis, thank you so much for joining us
having
this
us. Thanks very much.
morning.